The Seven Dials Mystery, Chapter 33. Battle Explains. Superintendent Battle sat down to explain the mystery. He spoke in a calm and friendly way. The first clue. Battle said, "At first, I didn't think Jimmy Thesiger was the killer, but then I heard Mr. Devereaux's last words. Most people thought Mr. Devereaux was trying to tell Jimmy that a group called the Seven Dials killed him, but I realized it was the opposite. Mr. Devereaux was trying to tell the Seven Dials that Jimmy was the bad guy." Why Jimmy was suspicious. Battle started thinking about Jimmy. He noticed two main things. Secret information. The thief knew many secrets from the government. Jimmy was in a position to hear those secrets. Money. Jimmy spent a lot of money on expensive things, but his family was not actually rich. No one knew where his money came from. The death of Jerry Wade. Battle explained what happened to another man, Jerry Wade. Jerry Wade found out a secret about the criminal. He told Mr. Devereaux he was close to solving the mystery. Soon after, Jerry died at a house called Chimneys. It looked like he took too much medicine to help him sleep. Mr. Devereaux didn't believe it was an accident. He was sure someone in the house murdered Jerry. The 7 clocks. Mr. Devereaux did an experiment. He put 7 clocks on a shelf to see if anyone acted scared. He wanted to show that the Seven Dials group would get revenge for Jerry. Jimmy Thesiger saw the clocks, but he acted very calm. How the murder happened. Battle confirmed that Jimmy Thesiger was the killer. Jimmy put poison into Jerry's drink before bed. Later that night, Jimmy went into Jerry's room. He put the empty poison bottle by the bed to make it look like Jerry took it himself. He even pressed Jerry's fingers onto the bottle so Jerry's fingerprints would be on it. The ending. A man named Bauer was also in the house, but he wasn't a criminal. He was a secret policeman working for Battle. In the end, Mr. Devereaux figured out that Jimmy was the thief and the killer. Sadly, because Mr. Devereaux found out the truth, Jimmy killed him too. The secret helper. Superintendent Battle explained that Jimmy Thesiger had help from a woman named Lorraine Wade. Jerry Wade, the first victim, loved Lorraine and told her his secrets. Lorraine was secretly working for Jimmy, so she told Jimmy everything Jerry said. Later, Mr. Devereaux also liked Lorraine and warned her that Jimmy was a bad man. Because of this, Jimmy killed Mr. Devereaux too. The fake fight at the Abbey. Battle then explained what happened during the robbery at the house called the Abbey. Jimmy told a story about fighting a stranger, but it was all a lie. What really happened? The plan. Jimmy and Lorraine met at 2 a.m. Lorraine waited outside under a window. The theft. Jimmy went to his room and pretended to wait for his turn to guard the house. Instead, he climbed up the outside of the house using the plants, the ivy on the wall. The papers. He went into the guest's room, stole the secret papers, and threw them down to Lorraine. The fake struggle. Jimmy climbed back down and started making noise. He knocked over tables and talked in different voices to make it sound like he was fighting a thief. The gunshots. Jimmy used his own gun to shoot at the wall. Then he used a second, smaller gun to shoot himself in the arm. He did this to make everyone believe he was a hero who tried to stop a robber. The mistake. Jimmy was very clever, but he made one mistake. After he shot himself, he had to hide the small gun and the glove he was wearing. He threw the gun out the window. He used his teeth to pull the glove off his hand and threw it into the fireplace. Battle found the burnt glove in the fire. It had teeth marks on it. This proved that Jimmy had used his own teeth to pull off the glove while his other arm was hurt. When the police arrived, Jimmy was lying on the floor pretending to be unconscious. He wanted everyone to feel sorry for him. But Battle finally knew the truth. There was no other man. Jimmy was the thief. The secret is revealed. Bundle took a deep breath. She looked at Superintendent Battle. "You didn't know the truth at the time?" she asked. "No," Battle answered. "I was fooled like everyone else. I only figured it out much later. Finding the glove was the first clue. Then I asked Sir Oswald to throw a gun through the window. He threw it very far. I realized then that a right-handed person cannot throw very far with their left hand." The clues. Battle explained that he only had a small suspicion at first. The papers. Someone dropped important papers. Battle thought it was strange that Miss Wade arrived exactly when the papers were dropped. The Countess. Most people suspected the Countess, but Battle knew she was innocent. If she didn't take the papers, who did? He realized the papers were meant for Miss Wade all along. Why Bill was so worried. "Now I understand why Bill was so worried now," Bundle said. Bill had been trying to keep Miss Wade quiet so she wouldn't accidentally tell a lie. A friend named Miss St. Maur laughed. She said poor Bill had to pretend to like Miss Wade even though he was very angry. The suspects. Superintendent Battle suspected Mr. Thesiger, but he had no proof. For a while, he also suspected Pongo, Sir Oswald's secretary. Why suspect Pongo? He was in the room where the victim died. He was left-handed. Why was Pongo innocent? The glove they found had teeth marks on it. This meant the killer had to use his teeth to pull the glove off because his right hand was hurt. A left-handed person like Pongo wouldn't need to do that. The plan to catch the killer. Battle and Bill set a trap for Mr. Thesiger. The lie. Bill went to Mr. Thesiger's house, and he pretended he had papers that proved Thesiger was a criminal. The drink. Thesiger gave Bill a drink. Battle knew it would be poisoned. The trick. When Thesiger left the room, Bill poured the drink into a jar. Then he pretended to feel sleepy and sick. The confession. Thinking Bill was dying, Thesiger admitted everything. He told Bill, "You are my third victim." The final move. Thesiger put unconscious Bill into a car. He drove to a golf course so people would see him there. This was his alibi, proof he was somewhere else. Then he drove back to the Seven Dials Club to finish his crime. However, Battle's men were watching. They found the poisoned drink which had enough drugs in it to kill 2 people. The trap worked, and the mystery was finally solved. Superintendent Battle continued the story. He explained that when Jimmy Thesiger said he was going to get a doctor, he lied. He only slammed the front door to make it sound like he left. Then he hid upstairs. Bill Eversley was still pretending to be asleep on the sofa. He was shocked to see Bundle in the house, but he stayed quiet. He knew the police were watching, so he thought Bundle was safe. What Bill saw. Bill took over the story. "I was lying on the sofa, trying not to move. I heard Lorraine Wade and Jimmy talking. Jimmy told her, 'Help me carry him upstairs.' They dragged me up the stairs. I made myself feel very heavy, so it was hard for them. Bill heard them talking about Bundle. Jimmy said he had hit Bundle very hard on the head. Bill said, 'They locked the door and left. When I opened my eyes and saw you, Bundle, I was terrified. I thought you were dead.' 'My thick hat saved me,' Bundle said. That and Jimmy's hurt arm," Battle added. "His arm was weak, so he couldn't hit you as hard as he wanted. We are sorry we didn't protect you better, Lady Eileen." The criminals. Bundle was surprised that Lorraine Wade was a criminal. "She seemed so kind and gentle," Bundle said. "Don't let that fool you," Battle warned. "Some of the worst criminals look very kind. Her father was a bad man, too. We have arrested her. She might go to prison for a long time, but Jimmy Thesiger will be executed for his crimes. He is a very bad man." Time to celebrate. Superintendent Battle suggested they all go to a restaurant nearby to eat and celebrate. "I am very hungry," Bundle said. She looked at the group. "I want to get to know everyone in our secret group, the Seven Dials."
Bill was excited. "We need some champagne," he cheered. Bundles smiled at the detective. "Superintendent Battle, you are a wonderful man. Since you are already married, I guess I will have to marry Bill instead."